to the What They Don't Teach You in School YouTube channel, where we teach life. My name is Donnie Thomas, and I'm the author of the book, What They Don't Teach You in School. I'm the developer of the Real Estate Investment Model for Wealth, which is an online seminar as well as a hands-on workshop that we offer to our clients to help them become better real estate investors. And I am an executive advisor at the Donatello Group, which is a real estate investment management and consulting firm that helps individuals as well as businesses to take their money and invest it in income-producing assets, primarily backed by real estate. Now that we've got all the formalities out of the way, I'm extremely excited to dive into the topic for today, which is how to get out of the rat race and why we may never get there. So, I'm excited about this topic because as a real estate investor, I can't tell you how many times I'm approached by people and they say things like, if only I had $1 million, if only I had $1 billion, I'd just pay off all my debt, I'd move to another country, I'd help my family, my friends, I'd pay off their debt, and I'd just be sitting up on a beach with no cares in the world. And while I think that all those things sound admirable, I don't think that it's actually true. And I've explored that through the lens of the topic, how to get out of the rat race and why we may never get there. So, first I did some research. I ran across an article in Forbes magazine, and it highlighted the 400 most wealthiest individuals in 2016. Now, 5 of the top 100 most wealthiest individuals maintained that they received all of their wealth solely through real estate. Now, it represented about $41 billion collectively for those 5 individuals, which isn't more than the most wealthiest individual on that list. However, I wanted to look at what the common thread was among all of these individuals. And it hit me. They're business owners. They're business owners, people. If you think that for 1 second you're going to enter into real estate investing and you're just going to be able to kick your feet up on some beach and do nothing, you're sadly mistaken, because it is a business. Now, when we talk about the concept of this rat race, I actually don't think that we can truly get out of this rat race, and I'll tell you why. So let's first explore what the rat race is. Now, the rat race is not all of us just dropped into some box and we're all running around looking for cheese. No, that's not the rat race. What the rat race is us being dropped in the cycle of life, and we're walking around blindly trying to find the people, the places, the things that add value to our lives and make us happy. Now, that's the rat race. That's part of the rat race. But I don't think that we can actually get out of it. But what we can do is we can control the narrative of our lives in such a manner that we begin to run our own race instead of running someone else's race. And that is what sets a lot of people apart from those individuals on the Forbes 400 list, is that they are in control of the narrative of their lives in such a way that they're running their own race. When we talk about those individuals, they're still getting up, going to work. They're still challenging their mind. And why? Why is that? That's a concept called self-actualization. Self-actualization, people. So that is what is driving these individuals to continue to find themselves, to continue to challenge themselves. And that is why I don't think that for many people will truly be able to get out of the rat race. Now, if we want to talk about how we move to a place where we can control the narrative of our lives in such a manner that we're beginning to run our own race, there are 3 things that you have to be mindful of. The first, which anybody will tell you, is minimizing your expenses for living and maximizing the multiple streams of income that you have in order to support that minimum expense for living. The second thing is you must become a master of risk mitigation. Change is the gift that keeps on giving, people, and you will always have to understand how to mitigate risk. And the last thing is you have to understand the construct of the society that we live in and how to navigate it in such a manner that you're able to start running your race instead of running someone else's race. Now, let's dive into each of these topics to really explore how to get out of the rat race and why we may never get there. Now, the first topic of minimizing your expenses. I can't tell you how many times when I hear folks say, oh, I just want to get this $500,000 home and I want to get this note. It sometimes makes me cringe because they don't really have the multiple streams of income that will really allow them to support that type of lifestyle. And what they end up doing is they are becoming what some people call house poor. They think that owning a house will be their path to wealth instead of understanding how to create multiple streams of income through their real estate investments. Now, imagine for a second waking up and you don't have to worry about rent. You don't have to worry about a car note. You don't have to worry about any of the major expenses for your life. The only thing that you have to maybe worry about are property taxes, property insurance, car insurance, gas, and your leisure. Those things. You could truly reduce your expenses for a living to no more than $5,000 a year. And it's very possible, people. I have proven examples of places that are no more than an hour from me where individuals could buy them and own them outright within a year or two and not have to live a rat race. But the issue is that us as human beings, sometimes we don't understand the concept of delayed gratification. We want everything now. We want to get the $500,000 mortgage because we have to have it now. We want to get the $40,000 loan for the car because we have to drive this amazing car that nobody's really going to see because you're always parking it somewhere. People, we have to drill the concept of delayed gratification into our minds first in order to control the narrative of our lives in such a manner that we're running our own race. Next, let's talk about being a master of risk mitigation. I can't tell you, again, how many times I have gotten calls about furnaces and roofs and toilets and all kinds of things that are breaking, and tens of thousands of dollars have had to be paid out, within a year in order to address these things. But we're ready for those kinds of things because we're masters of risk mitigation. When you don't have that safety net in place in order to gauge or prepare for risks that are going to be inevitable, what happens is you then put yourself in a position where you could be digging yourself back in the rat race even further, where you have to run someone else's race instead of your own race. So understand the concept of risk and understand how to mitigate it in such a manner that you're prepared for anything that comes your way. Now, lastly, when we talk about the construct of this society, there is the elephant in the room, people. Taxes. You will always have to pay taxes. You will never be able to get around them. But that's why there are a lot of those individuals, like the individuals on the Forbes 400 list, that spend a lot of time trying to understand how to reduce their tax liability. And how do they do that? Through business ownership. That's the way our society works. That's the best way to reduce your tax liability. And when you understand that, you begin to explore those avenues. Now, I understand that not everybody wants to be a business owner, but what I am telling you is that that's one of the best ways in order to understand how to navigate the tax situation and how to reduce your taxes in such a way that you're able to control the narrative of your own life and you're not a slave to taxes. The second thing within the construct of our society, and it's actually also applicable to risk mitigation, is the I word: inflation. If you think for 1 second your $1 million or your $1 billion is going to have the same value that it did 20, 30, 40 years ago, you're sadly mistaken. If you think that when you retire at the age of 30, you're going to be able to take that $1 million and ride it out until the day that you die, you're sadly mistaken, especially if you consider a life expectancy of about 70 years. That's 40 years. Your money is not going to go very far or have the same value in 40 years. So you have to understand that in order to get out of the rat race, you have to be building your wealth over time, because the value of your dollars are going to decrease over time. Now, I'll just briefly recap everything because I really want you guys to understand this concept. If you minimize your expenses down to the most necessary expenses and maximize your multiple streams of income, making sure that you have an income stream for everything, where you live, what you drive, what you eat, where you travel to, you'll be in a better position to control the narrative of your life. If you understand risk mitigation and understand how to put in place those safety nets, those insurance policies that will allow you to secure and protect your assets over time, you'll be in a better position to control the narrative of your life. And if you understand how to navigate tax liability and how to understand how to reduce your tax liability through business ownership, you will be in a better place to be able to control the narrative of your life. Instead of running someone else's race, you'll begin to run your own race. Again, my name is Donnie Thomas, and I thank you for joining our first session, How to Get Out of the Rat Race and Why We May Never Get There. Talk to you soon.